What's up YouTube? Capital G here, tackling the elephant in the room that is Trickstar Reincarnation. Guys, let's face it, this card is fucking broken. Konami had no business ever making this card, and I remember the first time I laid eyes on it when I did the video about Trickstars, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck did they do when they made this? It's searchable, it's not once per turn, it doesn't even have any type of activation requirement that involves Trickstar, so you can splash this into a whole bunch of decks. And it's already being exploited, guys. This deck is essentially an FTK, especially considering this card is searchable. It actually makes the deck very consistent, and it banishes your opponent's entire opening hand. So there isn't really much that they can do if they happen to go second against this build of Trickstars. They basically just lose unless, I don't know, they're playing like fucking DD Scout Plane or something like that. So anyways, this card, Trickstar Reincarnation, is combined with this other card, Protector of the Sanctuary. This is a very old school card. At one point, this card was actually limited. A little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh history for you guys. And what this card basically does is it says that your opponent cannot draw cards except during the draw phase. Now, there is a weird ruling. I'm not even sure if it's still in play because I believe it was made by Upper Deck, but the ruling used to go that if you had Protector of the Sanctuary on the field, you couldn't just activate something like Card Destruction that would force your opponent to draw cards. However, if you activate that card effect and then this card becomes on the field, like if you summon it from like Call to Haunted or something like that, that's perfectly fine. You just couldn't activate that card while Protector of Sanctuary is on the field, which is, it's even better that this card is a trap because it makes it so easy to basically pull off your combos. And this is the deck, guys. This is essentially an FTK version of Tricksters. Your opponent does not get to do anything if they go second. Everything in their hand gets banished. So even if they're playing like a frog deck, if they're playing Infernoids, if they're playing anything that would basically allow them to play from the graveyard like zombies, it just won't matter because they won't have a graveyard. So basically they have to play like DD Scout Plane or rip Rest in Pepperoni. So this guy's playing Dust-Ons. It honestly doesn't matter. He could be playing Zodiacs. This would be the same exact replay. And you guys know that this is obviously a degenerated deck because he played One Day of Peace. I've said for a while now, the only decks that play One Day of Peace are fucking degenerate decks like Chainburn, Exodia, and obviously like this fucking Trickstar FTK base. Well, I mean, what do we call this? An OTK, FTK? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and roll it. You guys will see. And again, keep in mind, Reincarnation is searchable. All he had to do was get his Protector of the Sanctuary in the graveyard, and then it's a simple means of basically getting your Reincarnation, again, searchable card, and then just bringing back your Protector of the Sanctuary. You can do it with Call to Haunted or with Oasis of the Dragon Souls, and it's basically GG. You activate Reincarnation, you chain your Oasis of the Dragon Souls, chain revolves backwards, Protector of the Sanctuary comes out, Trickstar Reincarnation banishes your opponent's entire opening hand, and GG no re. Like, they don't get to do anything. At this point, you do have almost 3,000 damage on board, and then you can obviously, if you have any other Trickstars in your graveyard, like, you know, he discarded a copy of Candina, then you can obviously reborn that during your turn in. I mean, you basically have enough damage. Like, they're going to be drawing one card, and they're going to be at, what, maybe like 4,000 life points, somewhere around that. So I guess they have one card and nothing else to basically combat your, like, 5 or 6 cards. Let me show you guys another replay. And the thing is, it doesn't matter, like, what your opponent's playing. If you think, oh, Cap, he won because he played against Dust-Ons or something, like, okay, well, this is Paleozoic, right? This is obviously, you know, one of the best decks of the entire format right now, and let's just see how Paleozoic does. It's not gonna fare any better. You see right here, he didn't even open with the field spell, but the field spell searches the monster, and then the monster searches the trap. So, like, it's going to be consistent. The only question is, can you get your Protector of the Sanctuary in the grave, and can you get, like, an Oasis of the Dragon Souls? And, you know, he has the combo right here, so let's see how much better Paleozoic fares. The only way I think of countering this going second is to have, like, MST or Twin Twister for the Oasis, because again, he basically has everything banished. It doesn't matter that Lost Winds is in the graveyard. The only thing this guy has to play with is a Paleozoic card, and then that's basically it. So this deck is fucking disgusting, and Konami should have never made Trickstar Reincarnation, guys. I'm gonna show you guys the deck profile if you want to take it online, you want to troll around with it. And it's going to be, by the way, if they don't print this card in at least super rare, that will be a shame, because this could be the most broken card they released all year. Fuck Theseus. So this is what the Trickstar deck actually looks like on paper, and it is disgustingly consistent because you have so many cards in this deck that are searchable, which is, yeah, man, that's actually a really scary thought because when Code of the Duelist comes out, people might actually start playing this. And again, if you go second and your opponent does pull off the combo, I don't know of any deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's going to be able to survive its entire opening hand getting banished. It's just going to be incredibly difficult. So you guys will probably notice almost everything in this deck is played at 3. That's because you do play things like Desires, and outside of cards that are limited like One Day Apiece and Upstart Goblin, Foolish Burial, everything else in this deck pretty much needs to be ran at the maximum allowed, except the Metaphos Fusion. I'll explain that card in a second. There is no extra deck here because it's just, I mean, you can run a bunch of rank 4s if it'll make you feel better, but you don't really need them. Once you get your combo off, you're going to have 2,900 damage on the board, which means you can kill your opponent in just a couple of turns. So the chances of them coming back are extremely low. But if you guys think that, you know, maybe you'll need a Castell or a 101 or something like that, just go ahead and throw them in there. For demonstration purposes, I didn't really feel like it was necessary. I just wanted to kind of show you guys the makeup of the deck. So this deck kind of breaks down into 2 parts. The first part being obviously your combo pieces, which are Protector of the Sanctuary, Trickstar Reincarnation, and then Oasis of the Dragon Souls. Trickstar Reincarnation is the easiest to get to out of all of the combo pieces because you have so many ways of searching it. Obviously, you have your Candina. This bitch is not once per turn. She can be searchable through the Field Spell, and the Field Spell can be searchable through the Terraforming. So you're going to get to one of these cards, and once you get to one of these cards, then you get the Reincarnation, which is basically your golden prize. You have Oasis of the Dragon Souls, which will bring back your Protector of the Sanctuary. This card can be brought back from the graveyard if you happen to, like, if you just absolutely have to activate a Dark World Dealings to dig a little deeper into your deck and you have to give your Oasis up. It's not that big of a deal. You have this card, Booby Trap E, that can actually reset your Oasis of the Dragon Souls by just discarding a card, and then you can actually activate the Oasis the turn that it is set. So you still will have your, you'll still have your play there to get rid of your opponent's entire hand. If you're not really feeling Booby Trap E because you're like, well, Cap, you know, I tested the deck and I kept using Card of Demise and I never had a hand to activate this, that's fine. That's fine, guys. You can easily swap this out with Call of the Haunted or Return to the Front Lines. This also comes out in Code of the Duelist. And if you use Return to the Front Lines, then your opponent's Twin Twister plays obviously go out the window as well. If you bring back the Protector of the Sanctuary, I mean, they can chain the Twin Twister to, I guess, target some back row, but they still gonna lose their opening hand. So they'll only get, I guess, that one card, or they'll get a couple of cards in the graveyard, but like it won't really change the fact that they're going to die. The most difficult combo piece to actually get to is Protector of the Sanctuary, but that's also why you run Foolish Burial in this deck, because if you don't actually draw it, it's not that big of a deal. You can obviously Foolish Burial it to the graveyard. And the second part of this deck is obviously just any of the cards that add consistency, any of the cards that actually help you get to your combo pieces or that reset your hand, that add cards to your hand. Things like Pot of Desires works fine in this deck because, again, everything is pretty much ran at 3. You also have things like Card of Demise. Again, it doesn't really matter if you discard your cards. You want to discard your Protector during your end phase anyway so that you can basically bring it back from the graveyard with Oasis of the Dragon Souls. Things like Magical Mallet, One Day Apiece, Upstart Goblin, they all work in this deck. If you're wondering why Metaphos Fusion is in here, Metaphos Fusion actually works really well in this deck. For one, you can send it straight from the graveyard with Foolish Burial Goods and then basically throw it right back into your deck, and it acts as kind of like an upstart, or yeah, it basically acts as an upstart in that case. But more importantly, you can discard it for Dark World Dealings and then put it back, and it's kind of like a draw too. If you happen to discard it from Card of Demise, that's not the biggest deal. You'll get another draw during your next turn, which can, you know, kind of speed you up to killing your opponent as you get that damage. Basically, you're just kind of searching for more monsters at that point. But this deck is actually eerily consistent, guys, and I think we all knew from the beginning that Trickstar Reincarnation was a very, very stupid card. And, you know, I definitely saw the potential with Protector of the Sanctuary. It's just one of those seeing is believing type deals. And now that you see it, it's just so devastating. Maybe if it just discarded your opponent's entire hand, it wouldn't be that broken, because at least then, you know, they could recover some of their cards. Like if they were playing Paleozoics, or if they were playing Zombies or Light Sworn, or if they were playing Infernoids, they could still do some stuff. But when you banish your opponent's entire opening hand and this card is searchable, Oh my god, like I don't really know what you can do at that point. You know what, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe you probably should run some Xyz, because when I think about it, right, if you already have this field, you attack your opponent, then you make an Xyz, something that detaches, you get Candina in the graveyard, and then you can use your Trickstar Reincarnation and just bring her back and have a little more damage. So, you know what, actually, maybe you guys should run some Xyz. Whatever Xyz you run, just make sure that they're rank 4, make sure it's something that can detach, like a Best Dweller, or, you know, cards that can just detach whenever they want, so that you can get your Candina in the graveyard, so that you can bring her back and just keep doing more damage. So anyways, this is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, leave a thumbs up on the video. I'm gonna have the video, or excuse me, I'm gonna have the deck actually in the description if you guys want to download it. You guys want to fuck around, piss some people off. Maybe I'm playing, you know, maybe I should play this for the, what's it called, for the YouTuber Grand Championship. I was so dead set on playing Lunar Lights, but now all of this fun troll shit keeps coming out. I wonder if they'll allow cards from Code of the Duelist, because, you know, if Simo doesn't allow Code of the Duelist cards, then, you know, rest in pepperonis. I won't be able to play the fucking Trickstar cards. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already.